What's up, guys? It's Kara Corey here, and I am getting ready to make my breakfast for work tomorrow. So I thought I would show you what I'm making and how you can make it. So this is pretty simple to do the night before, and it's something I actually think tastes better if you let it sit in the fridge overnight. What I'm gonna make today is gonna be probably the thickest, fluffiest, most delicious pancake ever. Okay, so what we're gonna use, let me show you. We are going to use protein. You can pretty much use whatever protein you want, whatever flavor. I like for pancakes more of like a vanilla flavor versus a chocolate. So today what I'm gonna use is going to be the birthday cake flavor. And then one of the key components of this pancake is going to be, which you may not have laying around at home, but these whole psyllium husks. Now, you can get these online. You can get them probably in your grocery store in like the health food section. These are really good as it notes for intestinal health. It's an excellent source of fiber. Can help keep you regular. So if you are on a cut right now, if you are trying to find foods that help make you feel full, this one's gonna do the trick. We're gonna use a tablespoon of this, which is going to give us about 5 grams of fiber. Yes, so this is great to throw into your diet for anyone who's dieting. You're gonna wanna add it to some kind of liquid and it will kind of expand and fluff up, which is what gives the pancake the fluffiness. So other ingredients, we're going to use egg whites. We're going to use coconut flour, so this is gonna be fairly low in carbs, a little bit of baking powder, whatever you want for sweetener, and that's gonna be it. So the first thing I'm gonna do before I mix up the ingredients is go ahead, turn on my stove, and I usually turn it to low because I like to cook my pancake nice and slow. I think it tastes better that way versus if you cook it fast. I'm just gonna use a little Pam spray and get that rocking. So that's all set to go. I've got my bowl here with my scale, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So now all we're gonna do is mix up the ingredients. The first thing I'm gonna add into a bowl is egg whites, and I'm going to use 150. Next thing I am gonna add are the whole psyllium husks, and I'm gonna weigh it out, and I'm gonna add 5 grams of that. I like to get that in there first because it gives it a little bit of time. It's about 1 tablespoon is 5 grams, but I like putting that into the egg whites first because it allows it to kind of start absorbing the psyllium husk and make it like thicker and fluffier. Next, for flour, I'm going to add coconut flour, and I am going to add in there 2 full tablespoons, or you can do 10 grams, whatever you want. Next, after adding that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Splenda for sweetness. That's just optional, you don't have to add it. But I find when you're using egg whites, if you kind of want it to taste more like a pancake, it does give it that sweeter flavor. And next, for protein, I am going to use the birthday cake flavor. I think that tastes the best in pancakes. And I'm not going to use a full scoop of the birthday cake. We've already got, 16, 17 grams of protein coming from the egg whites. So for me, I don't necessarily need a full 25 more grams of protein. But guys, if you feel like you need more protein, go ahead. I'm going to do like a half scoop of the birthday cake, which ends up being about 17 grams of protein. And then the last thing I'm going to add to it, and this is kind of key for your protein pancake, is making sure you add the baking powder. And I like to use a half a teaspoon, and just that little bit goes a long way. If you don't add that in there, you will find it's not going to fluff up as much as what you're going to see my pancake fluff up. So next, we're just going to go ahead and mix it. Alright, so I want you guys to see the consistency of this. It's a little bit thicker. You can kind of see the husk in there, but you want it to be almost like, think like instant mashed potatoes. That's kind of what you want it to look like. If you need to let it sit there for a few minutes, that's fine, let it sit there. but we're gonna go ahead and get this on the stovetop. I'm gonna cover that too. This gets really thick, so it helps to cover it, and that way it cooks all the way through. Now this is pretty much gonna be my protein for breakfast tomorrow, which I like eating it cold, and that might be different from how you might want to eat it, but I think these taste really good cold, like sprinkled with a little bit more Splenda on top and a little cinnamon if you want. But this is going to be pretty fairly low in carbs, so I need to find some other carbs to take with me to work for breakfast. So I'm going to do that right now. I think what I'm going to bring is one of my favorite yogurts. I also like having yogurt for breakfast. Not super high in carbs, the kind I get, but I really like this caramel apple pie flavor. It's 12 more grams of protein, 9 carbs, but I also like to add to it some granola, so let me get that. So for some carbs to add to my yogurt, I really like this Bare Naked Maple Delicious Pecan Granola. I don't do granola a lot because I feel like you can eat a whole lot of it for how much you need to. Like you can eat way more than what you should, I guess is what I'm saying. But a fourth a cup of this is 22 carbs, 3 protein, 2 fiber, 4.5 fat. So I'm gonna pour this into a bowl to take with me. And I think it's about time to flip our pancake. Ooh, yeah, buddy. I don't know if you can tell that thickness, but it gets super thick and fluffy. I'm just gonna put the lid back on to let that cook a little bit more. I'm gonna measure out my granola here. About 1 serving, 31 grams. I also want a little bit of fruit to go with this because I think it tastes really good on top of the pancake. So I'm going to cut up some strawberries, clean those up, cut them up, throw on top. Pancake turned out massive. It looks delicious. I'm gonna pick it up right now. Baby's got some weight to it. I like to let it set out on like a paper plate or paper towel just for a few minutes before I put it in the fridge so that it cools down enough. So tomorrow I'm gonna take this guy with me, and then I dumped everything in here, my yogurt, granola, strawberries, and you can eat them separate if you want. Sometimes what I like to do is actually pour this whole thing on top of the pancake and eat it like one big dessert. Kind of tastes like dessert, so it's really good. But then again, sometimes I like to eat it separate. That way it just feels like I have more food to eat because it takes longer. So it's up to you guys. But this is gonna be my very filling breakfast for work tomorrow. High in fiber, will definitely fill me up and satisfy me through the morning. So I hope you guys enjoy it.